The Icons of Real Estate Podcast. Are you ready to learn the proven money-making secrets from top-producing Icon agents? Ready to skyrocket your business? This podcast is for you. Tune in every week with your host, Tomasz Fonseca, and find out how to implement proven strategies to 10 times your business, from $3 million to $30 million in just 12 months. Brought to you by the Masters at Real Estate Marketing, Arter SEO.
Welcome to the Icons of Real Estate Podcast. I'm Tim Calloway. We have a very special guest for you today, Larry Bammer of Stubbs Bammer Luxury Group. Larry is a former police officer who transitioned over into real estate. He is an award-winning realtor in Orange County, and he runs a full gamut of luxury households. Larry finds exactly what his clients' expectations are and goals are and focuses on achieving that. Larry, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no worries. So how do you tell me a little bit about your past. You are a former police officer who, as I said, moved into real estate. What's the story there?
Yeah. I got into law enforcement when I was 20 years old. I graduated the academy. I was the youngest kid in the academy. And I happened into the career similar to how I kind of happened into real estate. And I had been doing it for 3 years, law enforcement in a small town in Orange County. Most people know the MTV show Laguna Beach.
Right.
That's where I got to patrol.
Nice.
And small town policing with sometimes big town problems. But I ran into a lot of realtors there through work that I did. Met with a lot of realtors that worked with Laguna Border realtors, and so I had a little idea of what real estate was all about, but no idea of the nuances or how hard it was.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, no, because the shows make it out to be
right,
really easy.
Flip that house.
They don't. Yeah, they don't show the average agent working 60-hour weeks.
Right.
So I was a rookie cop and made decent money, and at 23 decided to buy a condo, and didn't have a good experience. And I was working with my beat partner, and he said, well, why don't we just get our real estate license? Because unfortunately it's that easy to get a license. So we did, and we worked together. We were beat partners on the job, and then we were realtor partners on our days off. And we had highs and lows over probably a decade long working together. I think I worked really, really hard at it, and he took a back seat a little bit. It was more casual. It was more part-time for him, like a hobby, where it was probably more of a part-time job for me. So I guess in the scheme of looking at the hierarchy of people taking real estate careers, you have the hobbyists, and then you have the people that are part-time, and then you have the full-time agents. And I was when I first got into it, I was probably that hobbyist too. I had a full-time job, and then I had a few successful years, and I thought, this is a pretty cool part-time job. It pays really well.
Right.
So when I always meet other agents that are part-time, I know sometimes the part-time agent does get a bad rap. But there are many of us, myself included, that started out that way and worked really hard, studied really hard, and did great for their clients. That being said, towards the end of my law enforcement career, I think my passion had changed. I had done everything in law enforcement. I'd done DUIs, I taught, I was a field supervisor. I did undercover narcotics, I had all kinds of stuff. And so I think I had really tapped out on what interested me. And one of the things I think that made the switch, besides financial freedom, is the reason I got into law enforcement, it was, to make things better for the community, to make a difference.
Sure.
And I hear that tagline, to make a difference in probably so many different careers. The reality is in law enforcement, you're making a difference in a negative situation. They're getting a ticket, their car got stolen, and you're telling them, file insurance claim.
Right.
Their car. It's usually a negative interaction. Whereas in real estate, what really started to feed my desire to continue and make something more of it was the positive side of real estate. It's like
Yeah.
everyone
You're still
everyone
changing
needs.
people's lives. You're still helping the community.
Yeah, but every single interaction I had, success in getting your offer accepted, success in helping them, move, trade up or
Yeah.
trade down. I never had the personal fulfillment of closing day and giving someone their keys and having them
Right.
bring me gifts. Like, that blew my mind. They're
Yeah.
bringing me a gift, or
Right.
giving me hugs. Some people crying because they never thought in the wildest, imagination they could own a house, and that type of joy that it truly brought me, it is what made me really want to get into real estate full time and leave law enforcement early.
Mhm.
I made that switch probably 2 years ago. Back in 2020, right in the middle of the pandemic, I decided to leave law enforcement and start
Wow.
a real estate team, because why not?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. That's fantastic. I mean, yeah. I never really thought of it that way. I mean, you're really, my mind is churning as you're saying this. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, all the positives of working in real estate and the good that's done, especially on the retail side, right? I mean, you're making
Yeah,
dreams come true. And I mean, I love law enforcement. Don't get me wrong, and I have the utmost respect. And I could go on about family members that are in law enforcement, but you don't get a lot of hugs in law enforcement, right? I mean, you don't get a lot of thank yous, and there's a
yeah,
lot more, spit in the eye, so to speak.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, than there is anything. And what I have found with folks is they become very jaded, and very jaded towards society, and we need less of that, of course. Um, so yeah, I think obviously for you it was the right move, but I think more people want to feel the positive side of life and helping people, than just putting bad guys away. I mean that's a simple term, simple way to put it, but yeah, that sounds like a great transition for you for sure. So tell me, what was that? Okay, so we talked about the past a little bit and kind of how you found out how, hey, I want to do this.
yeah.
What were the mechanics of, okay, I'm dropping this, we have a pandemic, it's time to do this. Did you just go out and say, hey, I know 6 people that want to all join forces, and we're going to be the League of Extraordinary Realtors? How does that process work?
Yeah. Um, I had, leading up to retiring from the police department early, I had probably 2 solid years back to back of exponential growth
Hmm.
in my personal production, to the where it just so happened. I guess I was fortunate. If I keep my eyes open, the
Yeah,
right people will come into my path,
yeah,
and to not dismiss it. There's a reason why people come into our lives, and I think if we are open minded to it, you might see where that relationship will work. So I'm at the office, and I'm working, graveyards, police department, and then real estate during the daytime, and sleeping 4 hours, and I'm really busy, and I
yeah.
to the point where I needed some help. So that I went to our manager at the time, and I said, "Hey, who in the office do you think I can partner up with, or get some help from?" And the manager said, "Well, there's 2 newer agents that I'd suggest, this person and Cristian." And so it's funny, now looking back at it. I remember going over to Cristian, who at the time I think was 20, in mid 20s, and said, "Hey, I'm really busy. Do you want to join my team?"
Ah,
and I didn't have a team. This
here's
was
your
just
invite.
yeah, like young kid,
Right,
want to come over, and
right,
he was a different personality. In the disc profile, he's a high D, and I'm a high I.
right.
So he's like, no, I'm gonna join my own. I'm gonna start my own thing. And so we did a couple deals together. He just helped me out, and we split them 50-50.
Right,
A couple months later, I realized, you know what? We're different personalities for sure. Yin yang, definitely.
right.
But um, I can see where together we can unite forces and do something great. So we circled back around and said, hey, what if we joined and created a team together? And we did. And it was two of us and a part-time assistant. And then the part-time assistant went full-time. And then we needed a transaction coordinator. And then we had an agent in the office that was a solo agent that was also part-time and stumbled into a big triplex listing that she needed help on. And so we helped her with it, co-listed it. And then she came to us like halfway through the transaction and said, can I join your team?
Oh, wow.
And it was like, sure. We didn't really, it was just a small SEAL team, him and I.
Right.
And so she joined. And then I got a phone call from someone else. Hey, I have a friend's kid that's getting into real estate. Can you help him out? And that was a little over 2 years ago. And so we went from the two of us as an assistant to 26 full-time agents and 8
Wow.
staff
Wow.
in 2 years.
That's amazing. That's strong growth for sure.
Yeah.
That with that comes a lot of logistics. Talk about that a little bit. I mean, do you just supplant yourself in the office you were in? Do you have to go out and are you constantly expanding? And how do you look forward? I mean, here you are now. We'll talk about that a little bit more, but how do you look forward? What does the next 3 to 5 years look like in that space?
It's a good question. So I the personality I have, which is very creative and
Hmm.
he might say squirrel, but
Yeah.
the two of us, when we sit down and actually think about where, so we're in business coaching. We have two different business coaches, and we're looking at that 3, 5, and 20-year vision,
Yes.
and it helps to actually write it down and then reverse engineer what does it take to get there, and really working on whether it's the 12-week rule or quarters, whatever you want to do.
Right.
It's okay. If my goal in 1 year and 3 years is to get X, what do I need to do this quarter to achieve that? It's like, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? It's the same thing. Like
Right.
I'm going to create those lofty goals, those lofty visions, and I'm going to put that to the side and only work on what, like, incremental changes that will get us there. So
Sure.
um, and that and knowing, like, putting people in the right seat really matters. So when we first started our team, we had it backwards. I was doing office managing and recruiting and running the team internally, and he was doing production. So we realized a year and a half in that um, my personality, I enjoy production,
Yeah.
and I'm not the type of person to manage an office. So we switched,
Ah,
and when we switched, we increased our profitability, we increased our agent count,
wow.
and I started to get a lot busier on the production side. So one of the things we realized is we both didn't need to be in the office, and we're fortunate. Some teams don't have two owner founders.
Yeah.
It's just a one person operation on a team, the head, and they have to do everything. They have to wear many hats, and a lot of them will try to run a team and be in production. We're fortunate, so we made a decision early on that team structure wise, one of us would always be in production, so we can keep the lights on, and
Right.
one of us would manage and recruit, and that's so knowing which one is in that better role, and then sticking to it. And then I started to get really busy doing my own thing, and that's how we formed the production partner, which was we ripped off and duplicated from another team, and it's like a team within a team, and
a subset.
Yeah, and a fantastic move on my part. And whether it's a huge team like ours where you have that role, or if you're just a solo agent,
Yeah.
That model can work for everyone.
So tell me, if I'm I'm with XYZ agency in your area, or maybe even if I just want to move to your area and I'm coming from, let's just say, LA. I don't know. I'm just picking somewhere, and I'm just like, you know what, Laguna Hills, I love it. I love the home market. I love everything about it. But you know what? I've worked for that big box house, mentality, and I really need to spread my wings and fly a little bit. What are you telling these agents? And I want to couple that with another question, because your story is so provocative and interesting about coming from law enforcement. Where are these folks coming from? Are they producing agents, or are they just starting out? And if they are starting out, where do you see a lot of them coming from, as far as verticals? That's two questions. Sorry.
Yeah. So where are they coming from? We get all types. One of the things that we really pay a close attention to now, we want all of our agents to be successful that join our team. You have to be of the team mindset. We don't like we're not going to bring on a rock star agent to the team who isn't going to lift a finger to help other people on the team.
Right.
That's going to come in here. So culture is a huge part of it. I think we get a lot of people from other, maybe they're in bigger offices,
Sure.
and that don't have that culture. So I think that's one draw why they come to us. As far as like different career paths, our youngest agent was an intern for us, a college student.
Wow.
At 19 got his license and started selling houses. So we've taken kids right out of college. Some have lived at home still, so very little life experience.
Right.
I would say a lot in the hospitality. So restaurant, retail, and then most recently, I would say retail.
Yeah.
Customer
Okay.
service and retail.
Right. And how do you, when they do make that contact with you, what are you offering them? Obviously, your expertise, right? I mean, years of experience, how to look for the pitfalls. Are you finding most of them really just want to come in and kind of get enveloped by your system? Or is it like, hey, I want to be the free bird. You just tell me and help me find the listings?
Yeah, no, we have a pretty good system of onboarding now. So you'll go through a 2-week online university, and
Nice.
then we have 3 mentors that you'll get paired up with. So these are seasoned, experienced agents that have sold more than 30 million in sales volume, and you'll get paired up with them for your first 3 transactions. So they're like your big brother, big sister,
Gotcha.
to go through those first 3 transactions. And then from there, you sprout your wings and fly the coop a little bit. And there's a lot of accountability on our part. We every week put out an email from one of our virtual assistants, puts out like, okay, where are you at with your follow-up? So we do a lot of online lead generation. That's probably the bulk of our team.
Gotcha.
Is Facebook, Google pay-per-click, Zillow Flex, and down from that, sphere of influence, open house leads. But so
Right.
there's a lot of prospecting and follow-up that our agents have to do. So we're constantly, every week they get an email and a leaderboard of like where you're at with your follow-up, and if you're not doing your follow-up, you're getting paused for leads. So when
Wow.
we're back to your one question about when you're coming down to interview on our team, like early on, like we're a hard working team. There's a lot of accountability, which most people joining a team want. want that accountability to be successful. And then there's opportunities. Like we have leads that we source out. We have open houses on listings that we'll let our agents hold open houses on. And it's I think the culture, the training, the mentorship, and then one of our big things is highest and best use. We have inside sales agents. We have a marketing department. We have you'll never have to hop on your own Canva and create some type of social media post or a
Right.
flyer or anything. Like we have a full-time videographer.
Nice.
That you can, everything from listing video to market updates to if you want to go out and interview the owner of a restaurant in your neighborhood. So we try to take a lot of the stuff that agents need to do, even like our transaction coordinator staff. We've got 3 people, on some of our agents that are really busy. We have a one-page form. You can just text the transaction coordinator and they'll do the purchase contract, the listing agreement.
Nice.
So, we want our agents to be focused on making calls, making appointments, and negotiating transactions. And if we can take all the other things that us realtors have to do, the different hats we have to wear away
Yes.
from them, it's a quality of life, it's higher producing agents, and a more profitable agent and team.
Yeah, it definitely builds. It sounds like the progression that you've got built there, definitely for a new agent, I would say, definitely builds the confidence quick as well. There's just so many things that as a young, and you went through it, as you started out, that you don't know. You don't know until you know,
Yeah.
right? And then you go, oh man, I wish I would have known that before. I could have saved myself a lot of heartache. And that's really, I think what you're doing is you're taking the heartache out of starting out, because we do know the success and fail rate for agents or new agents especially. And I think you're helping that equation quite a bit. So, Larry, tell me, how does someone get in touch with you, whether they're looking for something in the area or they want to list, or more importantly, like we were just talking about, maybe they want to start a new career? How do they get in touch with you?
Easiest thing, social media. I'm at Larry Bammer on almost anything. So whether it's Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn, at Larry Bammer, it's Hammer with a B.
Okay.
Or our team at SB Luxury Group. And it's funny, even though we're in South Orange County, California, where our median sale price is probably right around $1 million,
Mhm.
and that's just for your modest,
Yeah,
really nice condo townhome now,
sure.
or a fixer up or single family home. People have asked over the years, how do you come up with the luxury group, and what does it mean? Like, are you just selling high-end fancy homes,
Right.
like $1 million listing, whatever? And no, it comes down to our philosophy of how we want to treat our clients. So whether it's a $300,000 or a $3 million client, everyone's getting that same luxury service.
Nice. Yeah,
Yeah,
so the luxury is more about your service than it is the actual home price. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fantastic. That's powerful. I like that a lot. I like it a lot. So I always like to give the guest of the show kind of the last word, Larry. Any bits of wisdom, any thoughts that you want to share that we haven't covered?
Yeah, I think what's made me really successful over the last couple of months that we took from another agent is production partner. If you're a solo agent, or if you've been around the business a long time, whether you're trying to take a step back or you're trying to just exponentially grow your business, the production partner is a fantastic model. If you have any questions, like, reach out, and I'll do what the other agent did for me, and open up the playbook and kind of show how it works. But imagine, agents can't be 2 places at once, and now I can. I can be going on a listing appointment over here, and my production partner can be showing my clients in a different city, and it's allowed
Yeah.
me to be with a lot more people and not drop the ball.
Awesome, Larry. Hey, it's been great having you on the show. Larry Bammer, Stubbs and Bammer Luxury Group. I look forward to maybe talking to you again, Larry.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
All right, you have a great one.